Hello guys, welcome back. So in this video we are going to discuss about Postgres. So this is a very efficient and very powerful database. So how you can use with Python, it's very easy. So first of all you have to install Postgres from here. This is our official website. So I am having operating system Windows. So here you can select the version, which version you want to install. So this is the latest one, you have to install it, and here you have to make it okay, and here you have to select operating system. So here it will come after that. So you download from here and you install it, and after installation you will get a folder in this way. Here you can see Postgres 9.5 or 9.6. so here I'm using 9.5, and you can see here pgadmin 3. so here you can click and you will get in this way. I have already opened, so this is a GUI. So in this format you will get the GUI, and I will minimize these things. So whenever you will click on server, so here you will get some server in this way, and here if you will click, then it will ask for password because I have already given, so it's not asking password. So password is whatever you set in the installation time you have to pass here. So after that you can see there are two database 2. Now I can see here one is Postgres, I will minimize it, and one is test. So first of all you have to create the database and then you have to connect it. So let's create a database. Just to do a right click here and create, and you can see here database. So I'm going to create it. Let's say database is login. So I'm going to implement login functionality. So first of all we will insert the data and then we will match it and we will implement the login functionality. So just I'm creating a database using login db. This is a name, it can be anything, and just save it. So you can see here login db got created. Now you can see there are several things here. So here in schema, so you can see here public, and there is an option tables. So first of all we will connect with login db database, and then we will create a table, and then we will insert the data inside table. Then we will implement login functionality. So let's see how we can do this task using Python. So it's very easy. So first of all you have to install two APIs to connect the Postgres database. So this is a Postgres database and you have to connect it, or you have to make a bridge to connect this database. For that you have to install external packages. So what are the external packages? So you can see here I have installed just now, and you can see pip install Pygres here. So pygresql, and just you have to install it using pip. And the other one is pip installs psychopg2. So these two packages you have to install, and these packages will provide the functionality to work with the Postgres database. So after installing this, now we can start the coding. So let's start. So first of all I have to import psychopg2. So this is up API which will provide the functionality, and we will use all the functionality of this package. So as in last video we import SQLite 3, so here also we import it. And now let's use a try block. So here we will do a professional way so that you can understand how the industry is working. So first of all we will create a connection. So con equals psychopg2 dot connect. So this is a method which will provide the connection to your database. So here there are several arguments you have to pass. So let's discuss what are the arguments you have to pass. So it's very secure. Let's see how. So first argument is database. So database is, you can see here I have created a database login db. So this name you have to specify here. So login db, and other values are you have to specify user. So let's say user will be by default Postgres, and if you want to change it, it can be a change. And then password. So password is a variable where you need to define the password whatever you set at installation time. So Python at 123, and this is my password of this database. This password is up to you, like what you set. So here you need to pass host. So host will be by default localhost 127.0.0.1, and you have to define port also. So at installation time it will ask for port, so I have set it there 5433. So in this way you can connect to the database. So this is a try block. If is there any problem with connection, it will be accepted here. So I will accept this exception. So let's say exception as ex. Here I will print something, let's say error in connection, and my error I can show here plus str and ex. Else if there is no error, then I can implement else clause here. So if you are having any doubt regarding exception handling, you can watch my first series. Now I will print here connected. So let's run the program. We will see. So you can see connected. So I'm here connect with the database. So these things should be proper, and username, password, host port, and database name. So it's very easy to configure. And now let's say how we can create the table inside my database login DB. So again we will do a same thing like try catch block. So I will write inside try our query. So this is also a SQL based structured query language like SQLite, and here you have to define the queries. Let's write the query first. So before writing the query, I need a cursor so that I can write the query. So cursor will provide the functionality to execute the queries. So let's say this is a variable cur, and how we can get the cursor, just you have to use connection.cursor. So this is a method which will provide the functionality to execute the queries. So this is an object cur dot, and now same way you have to use execute. So this is a method which provide to execute the query. So we will write the query first in the same way, and last video also we write create table, and the table name, let's say again my table. So now I will create two columns. So how we can create the columns, you have to use a small bracket, and inside bracket you have to pass column name. So let's say username, and which type of data you want to insert, text, and should not be not null whenever I am inserting the value. Other one is in the same way I can create the other column, so password, and here it should be also text, not null. So it's up to you how you are defining your query, and then you have to use again colon here, don't forget it, and to close this triple quotes. So this is a query I want to execute. So if I am getting any error, so I can accept it here, accept. You have to use this class as ex, and then I will write print error in creating database, and here just I will write the error. In else part I can write in this way, else print table get created. So always remember, whenever you are executing query, so your connection should be proper. Your program should be connected to the database, then only you can be able to insert. But don't forget to commit. So here before printing I will commit it. So how you can commit, you have to use here con, don't use cursor. So you have to use here connection dot commit. So it will commit the query, and let's say I will run this program now. So you can see connected and table get created. So let's see in database also, let's check. I will refresh my tables here. This is a tables, and I will refresh it. Now I will check, is there any table got created? Yes. So this is my table. If I will say right click here, and here if I will make view data, view all rows, so you can be able to see here. So you can see here I have created username and password, but still I did not insert any data. So we will insert the data first and then we will retrieve it, or we can validate it. So till here it's fine. Now no need to create the table again. So I will comment this portion, and this portion is useful for creating the table. Now let's insert some data inside my username and password. So you have to use this connection as well, this cursor also. So let's insert some data inside it. So let's say I'm having two variables, username equals Rohan, and let's say other variable is password equals 12345, and I want to insert this data into my table. So how I can insert it? So it's very easy. Here I will use strike as block to accept my query. So cur dot execute in same way, and here you have to write the query. So my query will be insert into my table, because my table created here. So you can see here I created my table. This is the name of my table here, you can see. So insert into my table, and you have to type here column. So column is username, comma, password and values. So here you have to use values, because we are using here variables. So for variables we can make in this way. So there are two variables which holds a string type of data. So s and %s, and now I will close it, and then you have to pass a tuple of your values. So here I'm passing two values. So here I will use, so insert my table, column name, values, whatever values you want to insert. So because I'm having here, you can see the variables, so I cannot pass directly the variables inside here. So I need the values of these variables. That's what I'm inserting in this way. If you want to insert directly, you can write here Rohan and password 12345, but here you can pass in this way. You have to pass username, tuple of your variables and password. And now let's accept any error. Let's say if any error is there, then I will accept it. Accept exception as ex, and here you can print something. Let's say print error inserting data, and here I will plus str ex, and inside else block I can write in this way. So first of all I need to commit it. So whenever you are executing query, don't forget to commit, and then I will print data get inserted, data inserted. Now let's run the program. So is there any problem? Yes, there is an error. It shows error username password. So here I'm inserting insert into my table, and you have to pass username username and the password. So is there any difference? So I'm seeing here username username and the password both are same. So here it shows some error. So let's find out. Okay, so here I need to pass comma. So this is the error actually. So you can see the first value is for username and second value is for password. So here I forgot to pass comma here. That was the error. So don't forget it, and let's run again. So you can see data inserted. So if I want to find out my data, so what I can do is just I will refresh it, and here right click, refresh, and now if I will right click again and I will say view data and view all rows. So let's wait for a meanwhile. Now data got inserted. So you can see here this is a data, username Rohan, password is 12345. So in this way you can insert any number of data, and now we will define our main task. So my main task is I will get the input from the user and then I will verify with my database. So let's see how we can work with it. So I will comment this portion and then we will work on it. So always remember, whenever you are working with the database, you have to open the connection, and if you want to execute query, you have to use cursor. Okay. So now let's see how I can use. So now let's see how we can create the username and how we can validate with the database. So let's grab the user input first. So let's say uname equals raw input. So here I'm using raw input. If you are using 3.6, then you have to use only input for grabbing the input from the user. So let's say enter username, and let's say pwd is a variable and which will contain the password. So enter password. So user will enter username and password. Now let's verify with the database. So for verification of database, we have to write again query. So let's see how we can write it. So try, and here I need to use cursor.execute, and inside execute I have to write the query. So my query says select username comma password. So these are the column name. So I need to select username and password from the table name. So from my table, and then I need to write the condition. So my condition is where username equals some string, okay, here, and password equals some string. So what are these string? Two strings. So in same way I will pass again after closing this triple quotes comma in triple form. I will pass uname comma pwd. So whatever we are getting on runtime, and here we are executing it. And now I have to handle this. Let's say if is there any error, then I can handle it. So accept exception as ex, and here I will print error in validation. And here I will print plus str and ex. So whatever error is to return, here I will accept it. And now inside else block, what we will do is so else. So how we can fetch the data? So let's say we can fetch the rows. So let's say rows equals, so this is a variable and we need to fetch from the cursor. So cursor dot fetch all. So it will fetch the data whatever present in my database. So if the condition will meet and username and password, here's username, if condition meet, this condition meet, then it will extract some data, and using fetch all method we can fetch the data. And here I will write the checkpoint. So in this way, if rows, so if rows having something, so let's say rows, and I will print valid user. So if it is matching, then I will print valid user, else invalid user. So print invalid user. So let's run again. So you can see enter username. So I will enter username Kripa, and the password, let's say 12345. So you can see error in validation, cursor object has no attribute execute. Oh, here I have did some mistake. Okay, so let's run again, and let's say Rohan, and my password is 12345. So here I'm getting again error, validation support format character S. So I'm passing here caps S, that's what this is the error. And let's run again, and you can see the output again Rohan, and I'm passing the password which is incorrect, and you can see invalid user. So what is the data we are having here? Rohan and 12345. So we have to pass exact that data, then only you are be able to log in. So let's run again, and here I will pass the exact data Rohan, and the password is 12345. So you can see valid user. So in this way you can create a login functionality with the database, and you can check it. So here it can be an n number of data records, and you can be able to easily implement. And this is the functionality of Postgres, and it is a very flexible and most used, and this is a very flexible and most useful database in industry. So in next video we will discuss with the project, and project will be ping pong game. Thanks for watching.